Remember when I made an add-on for Blender to simplify the lighting workflow? Well, now it's at version 2.5 and I'm here to tell you all about the new changes I made, changes that I will make in the next version, a quick demo of an add-on, and where you can get it. Let's first look at the changes that I made to the user interface. The first thing that you can notice is that I've changed the name. That's because Relit sounds more professional and random light was just a placeholder. Moving down, you can see that I've changed the lighting choice from abstract 1 and 2 to more intuitive names in the drop-down. I think it will even help me in the future when I'll add more light options. And I think it's just easier to click and open this drop-down to see them all. And here comes the config. There is a lot to unpack here. In the new interface, the top place is now for the color toggle. Right after are the power and the size slider, as they are pretty much the main settings for lights. And right at the bottom is a spread slider. I combined the height with it because the height is just a spread on the z-axis. And with this column layout, you can just click and drag down the settings that you want to change and change them at the same time, which is very useful if you ask me. And there is an important change under the hood. Back in the version 1 and 2, if you try to generate lights without an active object, it will just give you some random and very cryptic error. Now, in the same situation, the add-on will give you an error that you can read, which is actually useful. Who would have thought? Computers can talk now. But all jokes aside, it's really helpful when it's not just some code that not many people can understand, and now it's accessible for more people. And even for me, it's better when I'm not just jump scared by this shit and I just can't see, oh, I forgot to select an object. Okay. Those updates are great, but what about the plans moving forward? Well, there is a lot that I still want to add to this thing, and there will be even more as I add new features, and because I myself use this add-on, my needs for it will grow, and I will plan new things along the way. But right now, I want to add the following. Some new type of spreading, like make it so the lights generate in grid, and you can change how many of them and the size on the X and Y axis. I want it to be like a drop down, and when you select one option, the rest will change accordingly. Like you select a grid generation and the settings for spread will change for settings of the grid that they will spawn at. The thing that I really want to add is color schemes. Like you set it to monochromatic and it will be like light red, dark red and white fill light, for example. But I need to figure out how to implement it correctly, and the thing that will help me with that is the next feature. Saving lights but not manually renaming them, but by pressing one button in the add-on. But again, I need to implement it correctly. Like make it so the name will change to Relit 1, Relit 2, and so on. Or make the user type the name that they want. Maybe I can do both, but I don't want to make the interface look like a Boeing center console. Maybe not so useful, but a still good thing to have is to add texture to the lights, like this or this. Some things will come in the next version, but other just may never see the light of day. I used the first version like this. I pressed generate a couple of times and then was like, randomly generated lights looks good, OMG. Now I more use it with colors turned off, generating a bunch of lights to have this contour lights and then add color manually. But I want the next version to be useful in both scenarios. And of course to be better at everything in general. But now let me show you how to actually use this add-on. Again, the technique can be changed to fit your needs. And the main purpose of this add-on is to save time. So you open your project and open the add-ons menu. First, of course, select the main object in your scene or add an empty. This is important because the lights will generate in relation to that location, and area light will be locked onto the object that you selected, so keep that in mind. For example, you can add an empty to the center of your scene to have static lights. Rename them, because the add-on deletes the lights with the default name when you press generate. Then select some moving object that you want to add lights to and press generate again. Now you have some lights that move with your object and some don't. But let's look at the settings closer. Type of lights, point or area, number of lights. Then you can configure them with color enabled or disabled, power, size, and spread. Let me show you how to use it on some actual example.
So this is a live demo of this add-on. Here we have just a simple scene with this bicycle and an empty as the main object. And here I have my add-on settings, as you can see. And yeah, here we have a preview with currently no lights. So yeah, here I have some settings already dialed in. You can see power, size, the default spread, no color, and 4 area lights. So yeah, so at first I want to generate some just basic fill lights to have just some lights in the render, something like this. It's very subtle, but this is what fill lights do. Let's rename them to have them saved. Then select the empty again, and let's change some settings around. So now we can have some more contrasty looking lights. Maybe add more of them, maybe. Here it generated some of the front lights. I like them a lot, so I will just rename them to have them saved. Select the empty again and generate more. Again, just selecting the lights that I prefer, renaming them, selecting the main object again, and generating further. Let's maybe change the spread. So you have some cool contour lights, some fill lights, but that seems a bit flat, so maybe I can fix it. Maybe let's add some color to them. Yeah, that seems alright. Maybe I'll just change the color a bit. Rename it, of course. Maybe I need some more lights around here. Let's increase this to 5. Maybe let's make them sharper. Yeah, I think this is better. Now I feel like this is not lit enough, so yeah, now you can see it rendering. This is of course not the best result I can get, but this is just a quick demo to show you how the add-on works.
Well, I hope now you have some understanding of how this add-on works and how to use it. It is available on my Blender Market, but you can get the first and the second version for free on my GitHub. All the links are in the description. And if you will use this add-on, any feedback is more than welcome. Whether you liked it or just have some genuine criticism, I would love to hear it all. And a huge thanks to people that have already bought it. Thanks to y'all. You make this add-on worth updating and working on. And you know, that makes me happy. But yeah, that was all for today. Like, subscribe, and bye-bye.